Well, most difficult time in my career I had in '96 when Los Angeles Lakers traded me to Charlotte Hornets. I felt unwanted, I lost confidence, I felt very bad going to Charlotte and start playing for them, especially my first 10 games. It felt like I never played basketball before, even though before I was one of the good and best centers in the league. I became one of the worst. I couldn't score, I couldn't rebound, I lost balls all the time. So one day I came home, talked to my wife. Actually, she asked me, what's going on with me, and I tried to explain, find all those excuses. And my wife, knowing about sports only, that her husband is a basketball player, mentioned something that really helped me change the situation. She asked me, why you feel that way? I said, my team Lakers didn't want me and they sent me here. She said, I understood you're playing for NBA. You don't have a single team. You play for the whole NBA. And it really meant something to me because my dream was when I was a child to play in NBA. And from that moment I started playing again basketball the way I used to play. And I had the fun, especially in those years when I played for Sacramento Kings against those same Lakers. In 1989, when I left my country and I was born in Yugoslavia, I was born and raised in the communist system. But not the communists that probably most of you think about Eastern Bloc. We were more flexible. We had a lot of freedom to go, to travel, to listen to foreign music, foreign movies, except one thing, they taught us not to believe in God because our religion was communism. And how they did so, it was one day when the teacher came to school, we were kids in the class, and asked us, to pray to God to bring us some chocolate and cookies. So we prayed and nothing happened, and then he asked us to pray to our president of the country, who was a Tito, for him to pray for him to bring those chocolate and cookies, and somebody showed up on the door, brought all those things, and they made a proof, So we grew up, in an environment where we are all friends and we're all close, no difference between us, even though it was us Serbs, Croats, Bosnians, Albanians, Slovenians, different religion, Muslim, Catholics, Christian Orthodox, Jews, but actually we didn't care about that. We like I said, we had communism as our religion. Our apartments were the same, our couches were in the same spot, our pictures were in the same spot on the walls. So basically we lived life, we are all were same and no difference between us. So 2 years after I left, my country had a big trauma, the war, civil war started between all those same people, Serbs, Bosnians, and Croats, or how the media want to use it, Muslims, Christian Orthodox, or Catholics. They use those kind of things how they want it and manipulate with the things. And the worst thing happened to me is that I heard the news that a friend of mine who I grew up with and went to school with him. And I remember him, as a kid that, was brave and helped everybody and was a very good kid. Joined the army, the Bosnian army. Even though he was from Serbia, he was a Muslim. He went to Bosnia to fight against the Serbs. So I couldn't understand that, and I thought, maybe it was a mistake, but my mom told me it's true because his mom came to my mom to visit and talk about it. She was afraid something's going to happen to him. Later on, I heard that he was very, very brutal in that war. So, like I said, I couldn't understand why people can change and why they do things like that just overnight. What happens to those moments when you really shift from one side to another just in a second? So, like I said, my career was in the United States playing basketball, but at the same time watching the news, what's going on back home. And I saw all those wars, and Serbian people got kicked out from Croatia just in 2 days. 300,000 people lost everything and went to Serbia. 2 years later, 200,000 people got kicked out from Kosovo and went to Serbia that was under economic sanctions. So Serbia was number one country in Europe with refugees. And I decided to help those people, not just because supporting students or oppositions to overthrow regime in Serbia in that time, but do even more, creating foundation and work with people to collect money and bring happiness to those kids that they had trauma of the war. So a friend of mine who was working in foundation asked me, which kids we're going to help? And I was asking, what do you mean, which kids? Our kids. Well, he said, well, in Serbia, we have a lot of different kids. We have Serbian kids, we have Croatian kids, we have Bosnian kids. And I was shocked, but I didn't have an answer. So I told him, let me have some time and I'll get your answer tomorrow. So usually when it's a difficult time, I try to be alone and go in the nature. So in that time, I was walking by the river thinking about what would be my answer. And thinking about the war, the pictures of those people, Serbian mothers cry, losing, kids in the war, and nobody talks about them. You really found a little bit about tragedy and the victims of the Serbian people in that war. And I was close to making a decision. Of course, I'm going to help Serbian kids, because the Muslim world helped Muslims, Catholics help Catholics. So I'm Orthodox, Christian Orthodox, so of course I'm going to help Orthodox kids. But in that moment, I didn't feel right. And thinking about past, I had the opportunity to talk to Patriarch of Serbian Church, late Pavle, who told me once that when we were born, we don't have a choice to choose the family. Is it Muslim or Orthodox or Catholics? What we have a choice is to be a good person. And in that moment, I received a sign from the God that I have to do something big and help all kids. I went back and I told my friend, we're going to help all kids, regardless of religion, nationality, or race. So recently, in that moment, I actually understood a friend of mine, Samir, who went to the war. He was brave, he tried to do good. The only mistake he made, he chose the side. He chose the team. So recently, we launched a campaign, Be One in a Million. And our idea is to bring at least 1 million people to share same values and not to choose the team. Thank you.